Thank you, Jontavious. Lay me down a pallet on your floor. Welcome, everybody, to an Augusta Heritage Center cultural session. This is a visit with master artist Jontavious Willis as a part of our humanities series and also our winter sessions. This session is brought to you by the West Virginia Department of Arts, Culture, and History, the National Endowment for the Arts, the West Virginia Humanities Council, and also Davis and Elkins College. And it cannot be understated that this session is brought to you by you, every participant of the Augusta Heritage Center, and to all those that gave this year, became members of our winter sessions, members of our summer sessions. Anybody that's had any involvement in any way has really enabled us to continue bringing dynamic content straight into your home, even though the world sure is in a tangle right now. And Kate, you like that shout out, Jontavious? We'll get to more. We'll get to more of those. We just had an email that went out today that described that yes, we are planning to have our traditional immersive Augusta summer sessions. If you'd like to check out the dates and all that, there should be an email in your inbox. If you're not on our email list and you would wish to be, because that really is the best way to get news and updates from Augusta. And there's going to be a lot of communication that happens between now and then due to the ever-changing nature of the situation we all find ourselves in. And we're going to be ready to roll with the punches. But our plan A is that we're all going to meet on campus and jam and dance and have ourselves the time of a lifetime. Because I don't know about you, but I have about a year of pent-up people seeing to get out of my system. And this summer is going to be a great time to do that. And good news. We just learned today that our guest master artist, Jontavious Willis, will be joining us for Blues Week faculty member. So it's going to be a dynamite cast of characters up on campus this summer. If you would like to join our email list, you can email me at Augusta Heritage Center at dewv.edu. I'll put that both in the chat here as well as we're live on Facebook right now. Speaking of the chat here and live on Facebook, if you have questions that come up during our chat, please put them in there. And Emily and I will be monitoring that all through the discussion. And we'll relay that to Jontavious to make sure that everybody can join in the conversation. Without any further ado, I'd like to introduce everybody to somebody that needs no introduction, and that is the esteemed artistic director of the Augusta Heritage Center, Miss Emily Miller.
Hello, everyone. Well, thank you for that introduction, Seth, but I'm going to turn around right away and introduce our master artist today. You heard a little bit about him, and many of you who've been to Augusta Blues Week before know Jontavious. He is a fabulous musician and a wonderful person. Jontavious hails from Georgia, and he are you still 24? It says in your bio that you're 24, Jontavious. Okay, still is. Hasn't had his next birthday yet. And he's only 24, and he was nominated for a Grammy last year, which is pretty amazing. His playing is incredible. He's worked with Taj Mahal and Keb Mo, who worked with him on his last record. And as we're going to discuss today in our presentation, Jontavious has been doing a lot of really wonderful work in the blues, digging really deep into the roots and into and really collaborating with a lot of wonderful artists, both famous and lesser known, doing a lot of good work for the blues community. So, without further ado, I'm gonna introduce to you Jontavious. Here he is. And we were talking, Jontavious and I were talking earlier, and we wanted to sort of do this as a bit of a discussion. And so I was hoping that you would start out by telling us a little bit about how you got your start in music and in the blues.
Well, how you doing, folks out there? I started in music about, I would say, when I started talking. So I would go to church with my grandfather and sing in the choir with him, and That was like my first introduction to, you know, gospel. You know, something that would always be at the underbelly and really the core, really what I was doing. And from there, I think maybe second grade or third grade, I started playing piano. Um, didn't stick with it long, and then from there, I went to trombone in middle school. Uh, didn't stick with it long, and finally guitar when I turned 14. Um, yeah, 14. I started with the guitar. 17, I started with harmonica, and 18 with banjo. And the last three I kept, and that's it.
I love that. And who were some of your early influences in the blues?
Uh, well, most of the guys that I listen to and I really idolize are, you know, they're gone. If I had to name a few, it'd be Mance Lipscomb, Blind Lemon Jefferson for sure. Uh, you know, and barbecue. Really, well, barbecue Bob. Let me get finished say before I say before I stop. But really, most of the guys that were country blues guitarists and between the 20 the early 20s and uh, to the 40s or really after that man, and it don't have to necessarily be art. It can be songs, you know. I drew inspiration from almost everything. Even if I really don't care for a song too much, you know what you don't like about it and what you don't want to replicate. So even that'll influence you. So it's so many people.
Right. I was wondering if you might play us one of the early songs that you learned on the
Mm.
guitar.
I think the first song I actually learned, my my cousin taught me how to play on one string was Iron Man. Or was Smoke on Water, one of them. But the first one I learned by myself was one of the first ones. Well, I roll and I tumble, cry the whole night long. Well, I woke up this morning, I didn't know right from wrong. Now won't you tell me now, mama, what evil have I done? Now won't you what? Well, you can't say mama, 'cause you know it sure ain't none. I didn't play it like that, but you know that was the first tune. I started out in open tuning. I didn't um I didn't know how to play in standard until October of 2015. Before then, yeah, I just made my 10-year anniversary of playing guitar. I started guitar December 24th, 2010. So yeah, so I started in open tuning and so slide was the first. Like I got videos like 2 months in. I was tuning to different open tunings and I was really working like with one string, like I did just one string or two string with little accents, bars, nothing too serious. But that was some of the first stuff I learned. Rolling Tommy Blue by Willie Newburn.
I got
Wow.
a technical question for you. It looks like you're using a ratchet for a slide. Is that
Yeah. I am. My friend sent me he sent it to me from Canada.
What size is it? Is it a
Yeah, 55 millimeter. 15.
15 millimeter
Yeah,
slide right
15.
there?
I don't know what my hit. Yeah, 15 millimeter. Yeah, yeah. The folks that be on my fan page, they give me. I try to turn millimeter this way, because they get mad. They say, I don't know. They weird
They
people.
get mad seeing that it's a ratchet.
Yeah, oh no, I'm not using the American. Well, the United. Yeah. It's hard. The United States. Yeah, or whatever. So I don't know, man.
Oh man. Um, well, yeah, I didn't want to cut you off, Seth. I have a million questions.
You go ahead. I was just worried about the ratchet for a slide.
Yeah.
It's sponsored by Snap-on.
No. He just sent me three of them.
I love it. So I'm curious. I know during this pandemic, you've been like fast forwarding a little bit. You've been doing this hashtag Robert Johnson challenge. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. When when the new picture of Robert Johnson had first came out, I was thinking it'd be cool to talk about Robert Johnson again. So I talked to my buddies Marquise Knox and Kingfish Ingram, and I asked them would they be cool with doing, the Robert Johnson challenge, and basically we just every Wednesday we took a few of them off, but we just do our rendition of one of Robert Johnson's tunes, and it's been going on. That's really it. It's only 29 songs, so we're coming up towards the end, and some of them are double takes, but yeah. And I've asked a few friends to join in. We had G Love to do one. Had a friend, got a friend named Axel that did one from Argentina. Trying to think of some other folks that it's a few other people that did it. Miss Valerie and Ben Turner that they participated, and Selwyn Birchwood, and yeah, so that's what we've been doing, and I think it got over 1 million views total. It's been fun. A lot of people that weren't interested in Robert Johnson music, they're into it now. Some folks that going back into it just like we are. So that's kind of how we did it.
Nice. I love it. Um, how what I'm curious what else if you were gonna not that I'm saying you should do another big hashtag project, but if you were gonna choose another artist to like dive into like that, who do you think that might be?
It's gonna have to be somebody that got like a single digital output. I'm not trying to. I'm not. I don't know if I want to be married to 30 weeks again. Because it seems it seems in the beginning to be easy, but I guess like that's over half a year, so it's like yeah, But no, it's fun. It's fun though, but I don't know. I don't know. All seriousness, yeah, I don't really know. I yeah, I don't know. If I had to pick one, I wouldn't say. I don't know.
I like the idea of you got to pick one that they put out like two records, A side, B side.
Yeah,
You're
that's
done in a month.
good. Wonderful. See, that's how we do it. But nah.
Well, I wanted to ask you a little bit about the work that you've been doing in the work that you did this summer with the Foxfire Blues Assembly in Mississippi. Would you tell us a little bit about what that was and
Oh yeah, for sure. So everybody been in the house and everybody been trying to find stuff to do. So this was in the early part of all of this. So um, about in March I start calling around to different friends and trying to connect the dots and seeing what folks were doing, and I started doing these group calls on the phone with like 6 or 7 people, and then it went from that to starting a messenger group, and from the messenger group I kind of had it, categorized as this group was the guitar players, this group was the harmonica player, this group well, I was gonna do drum and piano, but we only end up doing harmonica and guitar. And so from there, the harmonica folk didn't really hang on too long, but the guitar people did. So from that, we talked about meeting up with each other, and I talked to a lady named Annette Hollowell out in Waterford, Mississippi, and she has a ranch. Well, her and her family have an 80-acre ranch out in the hill country, and I asked her could we come out there, and she told me yes, and we all met out there, and yeah, we had a great time, but it was like it was so much going on just in the world, and we were driving to Mississippi. Everybody was driving to Mississippi like the day after they done took the flag down, and everything is just going on, and so we get there, and we I think Mr. Bobby Rush came down, and he spent some time with us. We went to Bentonia, Mississippi, and spent some time with Mr. Jimmy Duck Holmes, and he taught us first class Bentonia style blues. If for those that don't know, that's the blues of Skip James, and Henry Stuckey is the guy that started it, but Skip James, Jack Owens, and Cornelius Bright, and a few others. But so it was a master class. We had some shows there. Well, like we did like 2 shows. And it was definitely an experience and definitely a highlight. And from that, we still talk to each other, and a few other side projects have happened. We have done some more shows together, and yeah, that's what that was about. So we had to kind of make something happen, during the time when it wasn't too much to do.
Would you be able to sing one of the songs that you worked up there by yourself? I know there was a lot of other people, but.
Oh, you talking about from the file? Oh no,
Yeah.
I didn't write anything down. I just make stuff up on the slide. I can make one up now though.
Yeah, let's do it.
Now some of the songs I don't make up, but I just play something in some stock lyrics though. This is probably something I would play there. I said, well, ain't gonna be your dog. I said, hey, I ain't gonna be your dog. Before I do that, I'd rather drink muddy water, sleep out in some hollow log. What do you saw me worrying when it's a train going the same way? I said, what they used to me worrying when it's a train going the same old way? I said, I ain't gonna worry now, mama, about you both night and day. Tell me, mama, what evil have I done that's gone bad? 'Cause I'm leaving, count the days I'm gone. Don't believe I'm leaving, you can watch the train I'm on.
Oh man. Oh man. So the videos that are kind of like in a they're were the videos in a church, sort of.
Oh no, those that's a whole separate thing. So
That's a whole separate thing.
yeah. So yeah, after we did Oxford thing, I kept like we ate gigs like virtual stuff. It was local stuff, 'cause that before everything really, down here the news was different than the world everywhere else. That's why we still that's why we suffering more than anybody now because people were still everybody was still going everywhere. But I'm in the rural part too though, so it's not my town only got 800 people. So it's not many folks. So still, everything was pretty open. So we were doing gigs, like together, and then we were doing some virtual stuff. So I end up when we got together for like some of the virtual stuff and for some of the other gigs, I said, well, hey, since we already here, might as well record some stuff. So that one came. The one in the church came. I think we did that in October. But yeah, that was just some sitting together and chilling. That church was built by slaves, and I think it's called the Talbotton. Oh man, it's in Talbotton, Georgia. If you look up like the only like old church in Talbotton, Georgia, it'll come up. But it was built by some slaves in the 1830s, and nobody used it. But it's a great acoustics, and we had a good time there. But that's where those videos came from. But we do have some from Foxfire though. It's on my page from back in July. I got some stuff on my page that we did, but yeah, those weren't from Foxfire.
Okay, but you're just doing so much great work. I love seeing one of the wonderful things about following Jontavious is that you see your you see you collaborating with so many different people, and especially during this pandemic, you're just like I feel like I see you live with somebody else, like sharing the screen and like lifting other players up too, and like just having collaborating despite all of this craziness of the pandemic.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it's it's all about you know being all communal. During that time, we ain't really got no way to get together anyway, so I figured the least thing we can do, we sharing everything else on social media. Might as well share share some music that somebody might not know about. Yeah, that's one of the best. I think one of the biggest perks of this whole time is really sitting back and seeing how social media is like some huge vehicle that like turn like you anything like especially for but for music too. That's what I've been seeing too. A lot of people been going live and a lot of great music have been produced, and like a good bit of my time has been spent just sitting there scrolling, looking at folks live. So yeah, I feel like folks up at all times of day now. Well, at one point in time, everybody was just at the house, but we just looking on social media, trying to get a little bit of it. So I just try to keep it current, and uh, that's my thing.
I love it. I love it. Well, I know. Seth and I were talking earlier, and we were, and I don't want to steal your question, Seth, but I'll get started, and you can jump in if you have more to add. But I'm curious. Uh, Seth definitely wanted to hear you talk, and I do too, about sort of the work you're doing, kind of dispelling the myth of the blues man, um, sort of the solo blues man. Let, what do you have to say on that?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's just like even the word blues, man. It's like the whole all of that can be. I don't know. I feel like popular media and stuff has really always shine a pretty sad light on blues musicians. Because if you think about it, a lot of the blues musicians, the only difference between now and then, a lot of the music was new, so people were recording everybody. Now you got to go through hoops to get recorded. In the early days, everybody was getting recorded, so that meant that you had more people that still had regular living situation. It wasn't like they were giving uh, big blocks of money in the beginning. So you still dealing with people that go right back to work. So these people aren't, they're not, professional musicians per se. So I think with that story being told and people really eating that up, along with, these blues musicians, and they were all over the place, and they didn't just play blues. That's like one of the biggest misconception with it is I think that people think that they just did blues, but if you listen to especially a lot of the older musicians that's got to record past the pre-war days, pre-World War II days, you would hear in their repertoire they had, what people would say were old time, or what some people would say were country, and some people would say, because all of it, those guys were playing it all, but the record industry kind of created what the blues man was. They told them to play blues. A good example of that, it's a blues musician named Tommy Johnson, who just so y'all know, he was supposed to be the one that sold his soul to the devil before Robert Johnson. His brother said that he sold his soul to the devil, and it's a whole big story. But Tommy Johnson had a song called "I Want Someone to Love Me," and it's a nice waltz. But he kind of he got a falsetto thing that he does that's kind of like Jimmy Rogers and yodeling. But they didn't put it out. And the only thing that we can think that the only reason they didn't put it out because they didn't want to categorize him as doing more than what was selling at the time. So in most popular music today, the same thing. They want you to produce what they want you to produce, and they'll take the narrative. You take the money, or you take whatever. It may be something. And in those cases, it really wasn't too much of anything, but. That's really what I get from the whole blues man thing. Like I said, but now I feel like that title has been reclaimed in some sense though, and now it used as a dignified title, like especially by people from the tradition and keeping that going. That's like that's like we made it kind of thing. But as far as it can mean a lot in that, and it goes all kind of ways though. But I hope I semi-answered the question.
Yeah, that is really interesting, and I think a lot of people listening will relate to that. I think that early record industry, and I love how you tied it into today too. But that early record industry, they really did pigeonhole people into the genre that they wanted. And you hear that a lot in the old time music. That kind of brings me back to I glided over this when you mentioned it earlier, but what kind of stuff do you like to play on the banjo?
Oh man, I don't even have my banjo. It's in there. I'm sorry, I never had the banjo but I tell you what you can do. And this is my theory actually. So I believe that when the black folks stop playing banjos, that's why open tuning is so prominent in blues. Now, I think open tuning is also prominent in it because of the Hawaiian slack key. But if you listen to the way that slide is played compared to Hawaiian style and the single string, a lot of the slide from the blues is you're making it's kind of like the black voice, like some of the changes in it, you know what I'm saying, like see, that ain't Hawaiian. Now that's that's slide guitar, from down in the south. So anyway, I think this is my theory. Like I said, I have no facts. That the banjo tuning, which was open, I think that when the guys got the guitars, which was like the late 1800s and the early 1900s, that they start playing, some of the banjo riffs, and you can find it with some of the older guys. They actually do play. So here we go. I'm gonna give you Old Blue. I had a dog. His name was Blue. Blue sure was mighty true. Blue was a good old dog. He treated possum in a hollow log. Every time I hear blue bark, he treated possum in an Ozark. Oh, blue, oh, blue, oh, blue, you good dog. Blue was a good old dog. He treated possum in a hollow log. One day Blue had to die. I sat on a limb and began to cry. Oh, Blue, oh, Blue, oh, Blue, you good dog, you. When you know Blue died, I sure did cry. I buried him with a silver spade, lower him down with a golden chain. Every length I called his name. Oh, Blue, oh, Blue, oh, Blue, you good dog. Oh, man, somewhere like that. But they played a little bit of that. But yeah. I play little stuff like that, but Jerron Paxton actually taught me like the only like solid 3 songs that I know on banjo.
Jerron Paxton, there was a question if you'd ever worked with Dom Flemons on our Facebook.
I never met with him, but I do know him though. Never worked with him, but I do know him. Sorry.
Right on. And if you're on that Facebook feed, Jerron Paxton would be a banjo player to check out. There are a couple questions about your early instruction, especially in a town of 800. There are a few people that have inquired if you had a mentor coming into the guitar, if you're self-taught, or what your early involvement was with learning some of these tunes.
Well, when I started, there were some folks that, kind of pointed me in a direction I wanted to go as far, how to mentally take on the music. As far as the technical side, nobody, because nobody played open tuning where I was from. Everybody was playing standard tuning. So I would say like 90%, 95% of what I know is just all me. You pick up a few, things here and there, but yeah, most of it is, I just started playing guitar and just went from there.
Right on. In the talk earlier about some of the projects you're involved in, it seems to me like blues is, and in particular pre-war blues, is alive and well. I remember there was a quote from a blues musician who maybe she'll go unnamed that was pretty much saying that blues music was dying out and was not going to be picked up by a younger generation, which I remember a lot of folks being like, what about what we're doing right now with this music? And maybe you could speak, I don't know if it's how to really frame this question, but from your perspective, it seems like there may be an ebb and flow to it with pre-war blues. Right now seems to be a pretty exciting time to be a musician in that style. Do you think that style is healthy? Do you see it being played out and discussed? Because it did seem like that statement was a little bit disconnected with what's happening right now within the genre.
Yeah, because it can be so skewed. I think, if we saying just pre-war blues now, I think pre-war blues would definitely thrive, and then we probably gain so many new followers because of people being at home and being isolated and have to produce music just by themselves. So everybody doing all kind of folk and roots music. But as far as blues as a whole, and it's like what do we consider blues? And today, do we base it off of you know, the same criteria were, you know, years ago. And you know, you want to take it to a systematic racism and regional and traditional perspective, because you know that's what you do with music. So if that's the case, then it's like who says, you know what about the blues, and you know, because you know you go down that hole. I feel like here recently, though, with the folks that I know, that is I have seen definitely in amongst my community, folks just popping up out of nowhere, and you know they are like they're solid too. They're really good, and I think with the internet and these forums and stuff, that's really what's bringing it alive, and people are seeing that. And this go back to the blues man question. Some of my favorite blues musicians, and in general, are like Ma Rainey, and this is before them, like, because she's from Georgia. By the way, just got to get that on out there. And Tampa Red, also from Georgia. It was because it was the business sense of it all. Like, you know, they understood how to, you know, about the songwriting and about, you know, publishing. They understood about, you know, if it all fails, well, you got something to back up on. Ma Rainey left and she started her own business, you know, so that was when she's managing some theaters or whatever. So I think, uh, you know, today, um, it's okay to it's more, to me it's always more attached than just the music. Especially when we're talking about blues, it's more than just music for me. Because I had some folks in my family that, you know, that like I was brought up on like a lot of this stuff, and a lot of this stuff in some of those older tunes, just like in some of the old time tunes as well. Um, the meanings of the song get lost, and people don't really understand what they're singing about. And then, you know, people are singing in like these different accents, and like it's interesting. You know, it's real interesting. So it's a pretty, you know, shifty um, shifty ground. But I think that folks, as folks, you know, really dive into the music, and you know, I think it is a resurgence in it. And I don't know if it'll ever be as big as electric blues is, or electric music in general, but I definitely see the resurgence. But like I said, with the resurgence, you know, we're gonna have more people that don't necessarily know the full understanding, and you know, so that means it's gonna be more explaining. So you know, so with the more numbers, we have to come with, you know, the folks that have been here for a minute, you know, good explaining and doing that stuff, because that's what's been missing in a lot of the music. So yeah, that's it. But yeah,
What's the name of your town in Georgia?
uh, Greenville, Georgia.
What metropolitan area would that be closest to?
That'll be, well. We still consider Metro Atlanta, but it's 54 miles. You know, they say 60-mile radius, so it's 54 miles outside of the city,
You're right on the edge.
right
Um,
on the edge. 85 go right around us, because that's the reason that, yeah, when they built the interstate back when Jimmy Carter was president, the folks in one of the, you know, big towns said they didn't want the interstate to come through Greenville because it'll mess up the land out there. So that's why we decreased 200 people in the last 4 years. That's it. You know, 'cause everybody's going to the surrounding, but it's still beautiful and a good place.
oh
But
yeah.
Greenville,
Is there a subgenre of blues that is considered indigenous to that area that you live in? Like I know, like you know, in North Mississippi, you have Hill Country Trance. Further down the Delta, over east, you
yeah.
have Piedmont. But I'm not familiar with that area very much.
Well, yeah, and then we got to talk about the regional stuff too. Well, yeah, we consider the lower Chattahoochee Valley, around, and it's the people, like they were still playing. Most of the folks, most of everybody really played the hits that they could get, you know, on 78s. So over this way, it was still Blind Boy Fuller, Blind Blake, Blind Jimmy Jefferson made it over here. Um, so anybody that sold a good amount of records. So down here, I guess it'd be just like some finger picking style to some low down Buddy Moss kind of stuff too. So I mean, I want me to play you one of those.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question.
Let me see. Hey Lord and Mama. down in the river. Bring me my boots and shoes. Hey, Lordy, Mama, Greg Almighty, lead me down the river. Bring me my boots and shoes. I'm gonna leave him, Mama ain't got no time to lose. I'm going away, baby. Your crying won't make me stay. Hey, Lordy, Mama, Greg Almighty, I'm going away, baby. Your crying won't make me stay. But the more you cry, the further you'll drive me away. Well, that southern leave at 8, that seaboard leave at 9. Hey, Lordy, Mama, Greg Almighty, said that southern leave at 8, that seaboard leave at 9. They'd only give me 1 hour to talk to that gal of mine. Going away, baby, crying won't make me stay. Lord and Mama, Greg God Almighty said I'm going away, baby. Your crying won't make me stay. I may be back in April and I may be back by the 1st of May. Woman I love, she's so far away. Hey, Lord and Mama, Greg God Almighty said the woman I love, she's so far away. And the woman I can't stand, I see her every day. Yeah.
Woo! That was awesome. Yeah, we had wanted to hear you talk a little bit about some different regional styles of the blues beyond and I love, man, that was awesome.
Thank you, thank you. Well, I think so. When I was younger, I had a different thought process about what I have, or what I think now. Cause so I was thinking, well, okay, here we go. Here's my spiel on it. There are regional styles, but I think that it's not really all set in stone. I think that just as pockets of everything, come up, people can be inspired by people that's, in a small community, and they, that can happen. So for instance, I think it's good to categorize it if people are just starting. This is what Miss Valerie told me, and I really agree with this. If people are starting like into the music, but I think once you get into it, you'll find out that it's a lot of stuff that's similar in different places. For instance, the Piedmont style, they say, it's like, well, finger picking, they say alternating bass. That's what they consider Piedmont style. But and they say that region is most on the East Coast in the Piedmont region. But you would find people in the Piedmont region that would play like like Barbecue Bob. He didn't even finger pick. He kind of frail like a banjo. And so I think if you had a hit record and you were in a region, and your style wasn't necessarily the same as that region, then people would try to duplicate your style or duplicate, what they hear on the record, which would create some, totally different thing. Because Barbecue Bob first song sold like, I guess, at that time, 15,000 copies was, was a lot. So it's a 15,000 copies, and he playing in a style that was way different than Blind Blake and all those guys. So, I think, like I said, it really varies. But you got your Delta style, which is, and it's hard to really explain what they are besides, just for geography purposes. Like the Delta is in the Delta of Mississippi, but a lot of people refer to Delta as lowdown blues, and then they just, lowdown blues is all across the board. So I would say, as far as picking patterns, you got folks that you can tell is picking with possibly two fingers, or you can hear that might be doing some flat picking. There's some flat picking in country blues, not much. Or you can hear them if they're doing just like a drone. But I think most of the styles are really based off of popular artists from the area. So if somebody say Delta Blues, they'll expect you to play something that sounds something akin to Charlie Patton, Robert Johnson, Son House. But that's like a big spectrum of music, because and also from the Delta you have Mississippi John Hurt, but Mississippi John Hurt doesn't play in the style of Charlie Patton. So, that's how you kind of get kind of crossed up. But most of the time it's basically people will take a few prominent players, and then that'll be who they'll kind of say a style is. So if you say Texas blues, if you're talking to acoustic artists, you have to really specify pre-war blues, because they could say T-Bone Walker or Gate My Brown, but you'll be saying Blind Lemon Jefferson, or who else would be Mance Lipscomb, Lightning Hopkins. So it's just basically like who's big from the area, and if they had enough people that played like them, that's basically what those styles. But you'll find it across the board that a lot of people were playing in a lot of similar styles. But that's it.
Nice. Could you play us a couple of? I loved your Piedmont example there. You want to play us a couple of? I guess you don't have to call them regional styles. You could call them personal style.
No, I got you. No, I get you something. It's still regional, I guess.
Yeah.
But, now with the internet, ain't nothing regional.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, I tell you what it is, and then I'll do about 30 seconds or 45 seconds. This first one is in the style of Mance Lipscomb. He was from Texas. He had they call it monotonic bass, and that's when you keep that drone going. So I'm gonna see. I got happy. I'm sorry. All right, and that's Mance style. He was born in 1895. I think in Navasota. He died in 1976. He was a songster. Like most of the older guys, they could play play stuff out of F, and most of the guys born in the 1890s, they were like amazing musicians. Check them out. And another guy, 1893, I believe, he died in 1929. Blind Lemon Jefferson. Now he's from maybe Beaumont or somewhere Texas, but now this is my guy. Here we go. He's known for kind of being he would do some cowboy chord stuff but then he'll do some off the wall stuff. So this is another Texas style. All right, it's crazy stuff like that. And Lightning Hopkins, another Texas style. I give you him. 1913 to I'm trying to give you years to approximate so you can kind of tell the different styles and how old they were. I think he was born 1913 and died 19. I'm gonna say 80. I'm gonna say 83 or 84, 82. One of those. But anyway. a girl that called Katie Mae, and she don't run around tonight. All right, that good old lightning. Let's see. Now I'm gonna just play them quick, and then I'm be done. And now I'm not gonna talk about the next one. Let's see. Do we have other style? Piedmont, like I said, most of the finger picking. Delta can be stuff like. Actually, that's more Chicago. So Delta would be like. All right. That's. I think did I miss any? That other stuff too. You know, we can say the T-Bone Walker stuff, but yeah, it's all across the board. We'll be here all day doing all of them. That's a few.
I love it. I love it. Do you play any of Mississippi John Hurt? I know you were saying, he's from there, but he plays it so different.
Let me see. I got so many good friends that play his stuff so good. I don't really try to fool with too much of it. Let's see. I can think of some. I do his version. I do my version of Pat on the Floor, but very inspired by him. Actually, I do it like him. Make me down a pallet on your floor. Make me down a pallet on your floor. Or make me down just one pallet on your floor. I be gone so soon, won't nobody know. Going up the country, what you want me to bring you back? Going up the country, what you want me to bring you back? Oh, I'm going up the country, what you want me to bring you back? Said a pair of leather slippers and a brand new Stetson hat. Don't you never drive us. Never drive a stranger from your door. Don't you never drive a stranger from your door. Maybe your best friend, you'll never know. I'm a country man and I just come in your town. I'm a country man, I just come in your town. I'm a country man and I just come in your town. If I ask you for a favor, please don't turn me down. Last time, folks.
Yes. Oh man. Sounds so great.
Thank you, thank you.
Well, everyone is loving hanging on your every word. There's a lot of I think you're just so amazing. I can't believe that you just celebrated your 10th anniversary of playing guitar. Or it's kind of incredible.
It's been fun. It's been good. Yeah, it's been a lot though. But 10 years is that's a good little
It is.
time.
It is.
Come on, yeah. It's a lot of stuff don't happen in 10
It's
years.
true. Especially the 10 years from 14 to 24. That's a big 10 years.
yeah. That's
Yeah,
like 40% of my life.
that's right. That's right. Um, and there was a few more questions about where you learned, but I know that you said that you figured stuff out for yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Um, Well, if anyone else has any questions, they can put them in the chat either on Zoom or on the Facebook stream. I know we had there was a few questions sort of generally about someone asked why are so many musicians have the title blind? And I think that really, well, I don't know. You can say you can say
Well,
your
I
answer.
mean, you might not. Uh, During that time, I guess it wasn't too many occupations that they could have, and then, and if you know, a lot of the folks be, you know, I read somewhere somebody was like, you know, it was blind folks everywhere. He said we were black and blind. He was like, you know, he was like, so he was like that. You know, we definitely had to play. You know, we had to play. We had to do something. Like, you know what I'm saying? And yeah. So that was the thing. But you know, but all those guys, they really and they were, you know, ace musicians. Um, I mean, and that's also why they sold so well. You know, they really honed in on their craft. And for the folks that might not know a lot of the blind musicians' name, I give you a few. Blind Willie Walker, which was a inspiration for Reverend Gary Davis. He recorded like 5 tunes, maybe 4 that you can only find, 3. But Reverend Gary Davis, Blind Boy Fuller, Lemon Jefferson, and let me give you one more, and I'll be done. Let's see, that's who else. I guess you can do Sonny Terry. He's a harmonica player, but he's still
I love that. He's a harmonica player, but we'll let him slide.
good.
Um, well, that's wonderful. Seth, did you have any other questions you wanted to
I
throw in here?
I just cannot wait until this summer when we're listening to you play on the stage of Harbor McNeely Auditorium. Um,
Oh man.
I just think it's going to be magical. And for those of you that don't know, this has actually been a pretty productive year off because that space has gotten a complete renovation and overhaul. And the next time you set foot on Davis Elks College, it's going to be you're going to be amazed by what's going on over in that space. So Jontavious, there's a lot of folks commenting that they can't wait to see you in person. I know that we're all chomping at the bit for the day when we can gather again, and we look forward to greeting you up on campus and playing. And there's been a lot of comments of how this just takes us everybody right to the porch of Halliehurst, which
Oh
is hallowed
man.
ground for this style of music.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for those of you that don't know, John, he has recorded some lessons for the winter sessions. He did 3, one for a beginner, one for an intermediate, and one for an advanced blues style player. You had a guest with you on the lessons I watched. I forget who that was. Who was
His
sitting in
name
with you?
J Hop. J-H.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's he's from around the we went to school together, so he's from the lower Chattahoochee Valley as well. During COVID, we really sat down and shared, and man, he's a great player. You know, he really just got into it just this past year. So, but that's him. Yeah, he graduated 1 year before me. We
I
attended.
had no idea. I had no idea he was going to be on that list. When I started watching it, I was like, "Oh man, the super."
Yeah. So folks can listen to Jontavious and J Hop at on our lessons as part of the winter sessions for Augusta, and you can learn more about that at augustaartsandculture.org. I want to say a huge thank you to Jontavious. It's been a real pleasure to get to chat with you and hear your thoughts. You have so much, so it's just wonderful to talk with you. You're so brilliant and have thought so deeply about the music and the genre. It's just been such a pleasure to and to hear you, of course. I already knew
Yeah.
I was going to be in heaven listening to you
Oh no.
play the music.
So this session, for those of you that are just tuning in or might not have had time to watch the whole one, the whole thing will be up on our Facebook page. once we get off here. If you're a Winter Sessions member, this will be archived in the January events tab. And speaking of January events, we've got a really cool one coming up here. Our next humanities series presentation will be called Passport Music, presented by the Huntertones. They're a jazz band out of Brooklyn, New York, and they're part of a very special project. What they've done is they're a 6-piece jazz band. Each instrumentalist has recorded a lesson based on their instrument, but they're all recording a common piece of music. And then they also have that piece of music available to play along to. Jazz players will know it as the Jamie Aebersold style, where you play along with the recording. But they've got the recording so that you can mute the track that you're playing along with. We've also got the PDFs of all the sheet music. For those of you that have donated to the Augusta Discretionary Fund, that is a project that is completely funded through the Augusta Discretionary Fund. The vision is that this material is free to high school and middle school players that want to learn more about jazz. And if you know a young player that is struggling at this time, because one of the things that I keep hearing about is that ensembles are a no-go right now in schools. And so this was our response for keeping students, school-age students in particular, learning at a time when they can't congregate. And for those of you that know that that group style setting is very important to formative young musicians. Jontavious' trombone years. I think you should pick back up the trombone, man. Let me just say that right now.
No, I think if I had a quick story, not gonna hold along. If I gave it back and we weren't done paying for it, and now we have a guitar.
Okay, all right. But that project has been funded by the discretionary fund, and if you know of a young person that would benefit from that, it's free of charge. We'll give them a code to log into a section of our website where that material will be available. So you can email me at augustaheritage.center@dewv.edu or at youngs @dewv.edu. I'll put all this stuff in the chat. And I'll make sure that those students get hooked up with that. But there's going to be a really compelling session because they've done a lot of State Department tours and they've done a lot of cultural exchange work. So that's why it's called Passport Music. And that's coming up on January 19th at 7 p.m., just a little bit later in the month. There's a lot of stuff happening at the Augusta Heritage Center right now. We're looking forward to the day when we can gather again. We're certainly planning our annual summer celebration and hoping to welcome everybody back up to campus, but we're not waiting around in the meantime. We've got a very robust schedule of events. You can check it out on our events page at augustaartsandculture.org. And a lot of that work is thanks to you guys, thanks to all of our supporters who really helped us during this very tumultuous time. And it is our goal to keep delivering high quality cultural content, no matter what the circumstances, by any mechanism that we have. So we're going to keep rolling with the punches, as it were. We'd also like to thank the West Virginia Department of Arts, Culture, and History. The West Virginia Humanities Council directly sponsors this event, as well as the National Endowment for the Arts. If anybody has any question about this presentation or future presentations, feel free to Facebook message us, Instagram message us, email us, or check out our website, and we'll be more than happy to help you out. Emily, am I forgetting anything before we sign off here? Everybody's just saying thank you for a good session.
Yeah.
It's truly been our pleasure, believe me.
Yeah, everyone's saying there's just floods of thank you, thank you, thank you. It was amazing. Would you mind playing us out with a little bit of a tune, and then I'll close us out.
Tune means no singing. Here we go.
Or song. No, Jontavious.
I'm just playing.
Term for playing.
I got y'all. Well, I stopped by here just to have a little fun. Lost it, jump up, nobody run. I was long gone. From Kentucky, long gone. Got away lucky while I left so keen. I was just like a submarine. Well, I won no man called Officer Jack, and they had the bloodhounds on my back, but they could not smell my scent. They just didn't know which way Johnny went. I was left so keen, I was just like a submarine. My girl stuck her head out the window by the bed, said, please don't kill my old man dead. I was long gone from Kentucky, long gone. I got away looking, I left so keen, I was just like a submarine. Well, I called up the captain and you all seen the fine. I seen her when I called them blinds. I was long gone from Kentucky, long gone. Got away lucky and I left so keen. I was just like a submarine. Well, I don't play the dozen, neither the 10, but you keep dealing, I'm gonna deal you in. I'm gonna tell you something, showing up bad. Tell you something that you should have had. I didn't leave so keen, I was just like a submarine. How I do, I said. Last time, said come here just to have a little fun. The law jump up, said nobody run. I was long gone from Kentucky. I was long gone. Got away lucky, so I left so keen, and I was just like a submarine. Pick it out. All righty, Jackson.
Yes. So awesome. Thanks again, Jontavious. I'm gonna
thank y'all for all the tune in. I really appreciate y'all.
Hey, Jontavious, real quick before we get off here, your album,
Spectacular Class, yeah.
Spectacular Class.
Oh yeah, Spectacular Class. Yeah, well look, folks, in the time of 2020, a lot of folks, you know, we didn't go out much, we didn't tour much. So if you want to go get the album, Amazon don't have it. So you got to hit me up on my email, jontavious509@gmail.com. And I will send you one of those bad boys myself. There we go, folks.
Is Spectacular Class your Grammy-nominated album?
That is my Grammy-nominated album. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, I got another one before that, but you can't even find that one because I got all of them. But Spectacular Class, folks. Y'all get it if you can.
I'll tell you what, you can also contact us at the Augusta Heritage Center. We'll put you in touch with Jontavious if you want to buy the album. Or better yet, come this summer, purchase yourself an autograph.
Hey, look at that right there, fresh and in person.
That's right. Okay, everyone have a good night. Jontavious, have a safe night. Keep playing that great music. Bye.
Bye-bye.